Welcome, I'm Max Horowitz, producer and host of Penderecki in Memoriam Podcast. This podcast is created by Anna Perzanowska and presented by Polish Cultural Institute, New York. Penderecki in Memoriam Podcast unveils a multifaceted portrait of Krzysztof Penderecki with commentary from musicians, colleagues, radio programmers, and writers who lend insight and memories of Poland's greatest modern composer. This podcast is part of Penderecki in Memoriam Worldwide project, honoring the life and legacy of the great composer. Thank you to project partners Dukes, Naxos, Ludwig van Beethoven Association, and Schott EAM for sharing Krzysztof Penderecki's music with the world. We appreciate you joining us in honoring and celebrating Penderecki's life and legacy. A champion of Polish music, Antoni Wit is one of the most highly regarded conductors in the world. A former assistant to Herbert von Karajan at Salzburg's Easter Festival, Maestro Wit has gone on to work with many of the leading orchestras around the world and has made over 200 recordings. Artistic director of the Warsaw Philharmonic between 2001 and 2013, Maestro Wit went on to conduct Spain's Orquesta Sinfónica de Navarra until 2018, and then in 2015 was awarded the French Légion of Honor. He is currently conductor laureate of Poland's Kraków Philharmonic. Antoni Wit has led orchestras in many of Krzysztof Penderecki's landmark works, including a Polish Requiem, Horn Concerto and Partita, the St. Lucas Passion, and Seven Gates of Jerusalem, among others. He has also conducted all of Penderecki's symphonic works for the Naxos label. We are honored to have him here with us, along with Naxos Senior Vice President of Marketing, Raymond Bisha, who will interview Maestro Wit for this podcast.
Maestro Wit, thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us. Where did you first meet Maestro Penderecki?
It was actually in 1963. I did not yet enter the music academy where Penderecki was professor, and in the high music school, my professor, Franciszek Skołyszewski, who was also former professor of Krzysztof Penderecki, he asked Krzysztof Penderecki to come to our class to see some of my compositions, because at that time I was not sure will I conduct on composition or conducting or only university. And so started our long friendship after.
You studied composition with Maestro Penderecki. What was he like as a teacher?
Honestly, to tell you, he had not too much time for his students because he was at that time traveling very lot. But when he was present, he had very good, very 100% remarks to music, especially. Until his desk, he was always a person with very good remarks about music, and not only about music, but of course for me it was important what he told about music. And later, when I started to record his works, and he was present many times at my recordings, and also in rehearsals when they were his works, and what he told about his works was very interesting and important to me.
Maestro Wit, you were very involved in performing the various parts of the Polish Requiem as they were written. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Actually, I was very much involved in the whole process of creating this piece, because in 1980, Penderecki wrote only Lacrimosa. I was at that time music director of Kraków Radio Orchestra and Choir, and we did a recording, and this recording was done on December 16 during a ceremony of creating a monument, important monument in Gdańsk. So it was 1980. Then in 1981 died our, how you say, archieveck, Cardinal Stefan Wyszyński, who was a highly regarded person in Polish society. The next day after his death, Penderecki came to our office in Kraków and told us that he wrote a piece for a chorus a cappella, and he wanted us to go to Warsaw and perform this piece named Agnus Dei during the funeral ceremony. We did so, and it was a very, very moving and important day. Twice that I had an honor to do the first performance of any of Penderecki works because many orchestras and well-known conductors were competing for doing his premiere. And after writing Lacrimosa and Agnus Dei, Penderecki decided to do more music, and so after 2 years, Dies Irae was ready. I had also a pleasure to perform first time in Poland, Dies Irae, and in 1985 almost the whole Requiem was ready, and I had also a pleasure to present it for the first time in Poland, and also recorded it for a Polish record company. Later on, Penderecki added one movement more for alto solo, and in late 20th century, he wrote a piece only for strings named Chacona, and his wish was to perform these two movements also with Polish Requiem. This means Polish Requiem came not at once, but during many years. And when I recorded for Naxos in Warsaw Polish Requiem, I recorded also this everything with these two movements.
Krzysztof Penderecki's music changed as he grew older. Where did he start as a composer?
In a period of his life when he was 25 years old until maybe 35, his music was very, very avant-garde, very, very modern. But then in 70s, he started to write the music like he liked, what he wanted. I think it can be important is to write the music you like yourself. When you take the most popular composers of 20th century, you will notice among them many who were not discover a musical language, but rather traditional. I think about Rachmaninoff, Sibelius, Puccini. This kind of music that goes into the hearts and is always and will stay very popular.
Maestro Wit, what would you say to someone who is going to listen to the Polish Requiem or the Lucas Passion for the first time?
I would maybe tell them, please listen to that piece of music exactly the same way as you listen to Wagner or Bruckner or Karl Orff, and please find beauty, find pleasure to listen to them.
Over the years, I've heard many stories from musicians who worked with Maestro Penderecki and all of whom loved working with him. Do you have similar stories?
There are many things. Many even anecdotes which are very graceful. Maybe I will tell you one story when I was looking for a recording of his Symphony number 8. I had a concert also in my plans and a recording shortly after that, but Penderecki couldn't be present. But after have studied the score, I called Penderecki and told him, listen, I will have a pleasure to do my next CD with your 8th symphony. But tell me, please, the very first note in the score for the harp, is it F or F sharp? Because in the score is F sharp, and it seems to me that F natural would be more suitable. Penderecki's answer was yes, you know, F sharp is a mistake, but I'm now quite accustomed to that.
Thank you, Maestro Antoni Wit and Naxos Senior Vice President of Marketing, Raymond Bisha, for joining us on the podcast to discuss Poland's greatest contemporary composer, Krzysztof Penderecki. This is Max Horowitz, producer and host of Penderecki in Memoriam Podcast, created by Anna Perzanowska and presented by Polish Cultural Institute, New York. Thank you to project partners Dukes, Naxos, Ludwig van Beethoven Association, and Schott EAM for sharing Krzysztof Penderecki's music with the world. We appreciate you joining us in honoring and celebrating Penderecki's life and legacy. Make sure to subscribe.